The hearing went actually even better than I expected. Let's not forget that there is a tragedy at the heart of this, so I don't want to diminish that. A life was lost, and that's never a good thing. But the individual that took the life and admitted on the stand that it was his idea to take her life is the one that is being punished right now and should continue to be punished. My client has always accepted her responsibility as assisting in hiding the body of Ann Hill, but she from the start has said that she did not take into any participation in a robbery, in a murder, any of that. The only one that has ever said that is the individual that took to the stand today and cut a deal with the state to get less than a life sentence.
She was taking a lot of notes there while Mr. Chad Raymond was on the stand. Does she dispute his telling of events?
She disputes about 90% of what he said. It's fairly ironic in that as he's going down through the story, he is telling a lot of things that did happen that night, but he is saying that my client did it, not him. So it's kind of, their versions are the polar opposite. They're almost like a yin and a yang.
And he said that she was the one who actually lured Ann over via text. I'm assuming that she says that that's not the case.
Oh, that's not true. I mean, even taking his version earlier he was talking about how we. But then when he got under my cross-examination, then he changed his story to, I never texted her at all. I didn't use any of the text messages. So, he's already changed that from that version and from what he told the police in December of 2014.
Prosecutors have indicated a kind of a love triangle between Chloe and Reggie. Do you expect that's going to be a big part of the trial?
I think they're looking for a motive, and it's just not there. There was a relationship, but it was one of convenience. It wasn't a love. You were my soulmate type of relationship. It was just one of convenience. Unfortunately, when you delve into that world, oftentimes all of your relationships are based on a need that have nothing to do with love.
And so this was a robbery motive that ended up with the worst possible circumstance of the victim ending up dead and then them trying to cover up what happened.
Yes.
What would be a fair outcome to you?
A fair outcome is to do exactly what, find her guilty of what she said that she did, which was accessory. She helped dispose of Ann Hill's body. She tried to lead the investigators to it. Neither one of these two were able to remember where it was that they left her body at. But a fair outcome would be to find her guilty of exactly what it is that she admitted to and she told the officers. Because if you remember, he wouldn't even be in there but for the fact that my client is the one that told the police that he was involved.
Michael, you'd mentioned in your cross of him about questioning him if he had had sex with Ann Hill's body after she was deceased. Was that ever brought up during his pleading or anything, or where's that information coming from?
That information is coming from my client. It's not coming from him.
Can you explain about what kind of DNA is involved in this case?
Well,
or in general terms? Not
really much anything because as we all know, Ann's body was out in the elements for a year before it was found in McLean County. And so by then, there's not a whole lot left, at least forensically.
And he ended up taking the detectives to the body, and that was part of his plea deal?
That was part of his plea agreement, but he didn't take the detectives to the body because at the time my client was charged as a juvenile. And his plea deal was to take the detectives to her body. Just like my client, he was not able to remember exactly where out in rural Oklahoma it was that they had placed her. She was found, I believe, by a utility worker out of Texas. And that happened, if anybody that's been following these stories know, that happened the day before this hearing was originally scheduled for last spring.